The Royal International Air Tattoo returned to RAF Fairford in July, and once again Plains TV provided the official live broadcasts. This short 20-minute film recounts some of the key highlights of the week. There's a longer 2-hour version of this programme available on the Plains TV streaming service. Of the 27 nations that took part in this year's show, one was participating in RIAT for the very first time. Egypt became the 59th country to send aircraft to the Air Tattoo, providing an Antonov An-74 TK for the static display. And the other really notable static display contingent came from Pakistan. The Pakistan Air Force dispatched a pair of JF-17 Thunders, the first time a JF-17 has appeared at the Air Tattoo, and the first time a modernised Block 3 variant has visited a European air show. The JF-17s were supported by an Ilyushin Il-78MP aerial refuelling tanker and a C-130E Hercules transport aircraft. The Pakistani contingent as a whole took the Spirit of the Meat trophy, and the C-130, which wore a special colour scheme, won the Concours d'Elegance for the best static display aircraft. As has become common at RIAT lately, the Friday of the show has taken on a rather different feel to the rest of the weekend, and it featured several exclusive participants. The Army Air Corps capability demonstration flew on the Friday only, flying the Wildcat AH-1 and a pair of Apache AH-2s. It was the first time we've seen either of these Wildcat or Apache marks in a RIAT flying display.
Gunship spiked. Static SAM 160 degrees, 3 kilometers. Radar acquired. Chaffing. Merged target.
Gunner target FCR. Tally target. Identified hostile SAM 3.2 kilometers. Tip in 170. Action in missiles.
The pilots throw the aircraft into a rapid return to target, whilst in the front, the co-pilot gunners will be working to identify any further targets among the dust and debris of the initial strike. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Army Air Corps display team.
Having the Army Air Corps Apaches in the flying was deeply appropriate this year, as 2025 marked the Apache's 50th anniversary. This was commemorated in the static display with a 5-strong lineup of Apaches from around the world, all of them the very latest AH-64E Apache Guardian model. 2 of them came from the 12th Combat Aviation Brigade of the US Army, the first time in a decade that the Air Arm had sent aircraft to RIAT. Another hailed from the Royal Netherlands Air Force, and one from the Qatar Emiri Air Force, the first time we've seen a Qatari Apache at the Air Tattoo. The helicopter was flown to Britain aboard a C-17A Globemaster III and unloaded at Brize Norton, before both aircraft then made the short journey to Fairford to appear in the static park. At the end of Friday's flying display, a much-anticipated arrival, a French Air and Space Force E-3F Sentry appeared in the overhead to perform a flypast before landing and joining the static park. The E3 was attending the show as part of the main operational theme of RIAT 2025, Eyes in the Skies. This drew some very notable participants indeed, including this Royal Canadian Air Force CP-140M Aurora and a reconnaissance LET L410FG from the Czech Air Force. This Grob G520NG egret high-altitude reconnaissance and research aircraft made for an unusual sight, its size emphasised by its formation arrival with a G120 TP. Perhaps the most keenly awaited Eyes in the Skies participant in the flying display, the French Navy sent an Atlantique ATL-2, a fairly elusive sight at air shows even in its native France. It's the French Navy that's about to entertain us, and I really do mean entertain us, with a tremendous display from an aircraft we haven't seen in the flying programme at the RIAT II for a very long time. In comes the Dassault Atlantique ATL-2. The Royal Air Force committed heavily to the Eyes in the Skies theme, and it provided several special flypasts. On Friday, a Rivet joint R1. On Saturday and Sunday, a Poseidon MRA-1. And on Saturday, the RAF's very latest aircraft, the Wedgetail AEW.1, which is shortly to enter service. Though the British military may be considered as the home team at RIAT, Fairford is of course a US military base, and the US Air Force has always supported the show strongly. In the flying programme, the Fairford-based 99th Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron staged a roll demonstration with a U-2S. An aircraft that took to the air for the first time in prototype form 70 years ago on the 1st of August 1955. It's still in service. It's still one of the world's most capable reconnaissance aircraft across multiple domains. And this is the only European air show where you will see one flying today. But let's talk about the configuration of this aircraft. This isn't something we've seen in a flying program before.
No, what you're seeing today is multiple sensors as it would look on an operational mission. We've got signals intelligence on board, which you see in the booms that are on the wings. Those are not fuel tanks, but actually where the mission equipment lies.
The Eyes in the Skies theme wasn't just limited to reconnaissance and intelligence gathering aircraft. There was also a sub-theme marking 80 years of helicopter search and rescue, with a wide variety of rotary wing types in both the flying and static displays. In fact, it was this which produced some of the rarest aircraft at the show, such as this Portuguese Air Force Merlin making its RIAT debut.
And no coincidence that representing the nation of Portugal is a search and rescue demonstration, because covering an area of 6 million square kilometres, Portugal has the largest area to provide search and rescue cover for in Europe. In fact, Portugal is responsible for the second largest area worldwide, only behind that of Canada.
Speaking of debuts, it's astonishing that in its more than 50-year history, the Air Tattoo has not once hosted a UH-60 Blackhawk in the flying display. That finally changed in 2025 with the Swedish Air Force sending a solo HKP-16. The RAF CTE trophy for the best demonstration by an overseas participant went to the Czech Air Force's W3A Sokol pairs display, a new routine that was being flown for both the first and last time this season before the helicopter is retired from Czech service. One of the most memorable displays of the weekend came from the Polish Air Force, its F-16C Jastrab solo display, flown by Major Maciej Slab Krakowian. Sadly, this would prove to be one of Slab's final airshow appearances. He tragically died during a practice display the following month. He went away from Fairford with the As the Crow Flies trophy for the best display, as voted by the Friends of the Royal International Air Tattoo.
Your demo pilot, Major Maciej Slab Krakowian, and the men on a mission to bring the roar of Mighty Viper to the UK skies. The Tiger demo team this year celebrates 10 years of proudly presenting the Polish Air Force F-16 across whole Europe. Coming from the left, a timed climbing spiral that shows the jet's agility and energy control, the Falcon turn.
On the subject of characterful fast jet displays, the Finnish Air Force's A-18C Hornet brought some very impressive manoeuvring at extremely high angles of attack.
Now this, again, a lovely bit of blue sky, is another instance of the Hornet's superb low-speed manoeuvrability. Watch that pirouette descent. almost think he was in a spin there,
Yes.
but he's not.
No, absolutely. Controlled flight throughout. But a manoeuvre that is really unique to this particular type of aircraft that does not have vectored thrust.
Spain's C-16 Tifon performed a very energetic display of a rather different style to the other solo jet routines at the show.
Spain initially ordered 87 Typhoons with deliveries beginning in 2003. The type replaced the oldest tranche of EF-18 Hornets in Spanish service, as well as the country's ageing Mirage F-1s. And the fleet shall soon grow substantially. Spain has in the past few years placed further orders for the Typhoon, this time for Tranche 4's full multi-role platforms complete with active electronically scanned array radar and an enhanced weapons suite.
"2025 marks the 65th season of Italy's national aerobatic team, the Frecce Tricolori, and this was marked with a special display combining its aircraft of the future, the T346, with its equipment of the past, a Fiat G91. This appearance by the Catalani group's G91R was the first time a Gina has appeared in a British flying display since the 1980s, and it was the first showing outside Italy for this particular example since it was restored to flight in 2023.
This is a truly emotional moment. It's not just a performance, it's a passage, a historical passage, because this very aircraft, the 346 Master, will soon take its place at the heart of Italy's national aerobatic team. The future of the Frecce Tricolori begins right here. The only airworthy G91 in the world, a dream brought to life, and that dream bears the signature of Renzo Catellani, a businessman, a history enthusiast, a non-fiction writer, a dreamer.
The Frecce Tricolori themselves were also in attendance, albeit flying 9 MB339s rather than the usual 10.
Looping, the first maneuver of our program, green, white and red. This is the only maneuver where all the MB-39ers are within the same formation. And straight in front of us, beyond the snake of white smoke left by the solo, the 8 aircraft of the main formation are now reconfiguring a big wing formation for the last maneuver of the show, the Alona. The one by which we proudly spread the longest Italian flag in the world.
The final act of RIAT 2025 was a deeply appropriate one, the Royal Danish Air Force's F-16AM Fighting Falcon solo display. Denmark's F-16 fleet will be fully retired by the end of this year, so this is its final season on the airshow circuit and its last appearance at a British event. This display won the Sir Douglas Bader Trophy for the best individual flying demonstration.
Captain Troels Deli Fang, known as Theo, from 727 Fighter Squadron at Skridstrup. An absolutely great guy, putting on a typically uninhibited display of this first generation F-16. And he and his team, like these words said in conclusion of their weekend here, on behalf of the Royal Danish Air Force, we thank you for inviting us back once again to lovely Fairford. This is the final year of the F-16 in the Danish Air Force. We hope you enjoyed the half-century Fighting Falcon demonstration flight, and that we certainly did.
That's the end of our look back at the Royal International Air Tattoo 2025. If you want to see more, you can relive the 55 hours of live broadcasting and watch an extended 2-hour highlights programme exclusively on Plains TV's streaming service.